Now, not many people would say that the Burnham government has made huge strides in the first 3 days, but you can see the direction of travel. The first steps are to help people keep their costs down. Yesterday, there was a cut on VAT on electricity bills, and this morning, a £2 cap on bus fares outside London in England. How these measures will be paid for, though, is a bit less clear. The government says the money will come from reducing spending elsewhere and not by creating new debt. Meanwhile, we have an example of the bumps governments can run into, with Shabana Mahmood and Wes Streeting Court making jokes about early release. The hot mic moment has coincided with news that 2 men who were in the car that killed PC Andrew Harper are likely to be let out early. Let's get an early assessment of the Burnham government from the founder of Blue Labour, Lord Glasman, Maurice Glasman, who joins us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to talk about, I suppose, the reality of government.
Yeah.
And how it comes at you quite quickly, doesn't it? And Andy Burnham must be finding that at the moment. What do you make of the first couple of moves we've seen from him and the way they've played out?
For a start, the Labour Party has come back from the dead. I think, as I said to you before, I thought it was moving quite rapidly to extinction. And I think there's been a turn. Obviously, I'm very pleased that Shabana Mahmood stayed in place. I think she's doing excellently. Also, John Healey is someone I respect hugely, and I think it's very stable. The thing is, what we're going to be looking at now is sort of like a proper Labour government, something from the 60s and the 70s. There's going to be balance of forces, but there's going to be a tendency towards these things. Cost of living, industry, but also keep your eye on Kanishka, the Minister for AI. I think that's an area where they're looking for quite rapid advance of that inside government, and that will be the source of a huge amount of savings.
And when you say rapid advance of that, do you mean as a tool to go through government departments and try and find out where they could cut costs, or do you mean grappling with some of the big ethical questions that AI is facing as well?
Well, there's 3. There's the ethical questions, but also, AI can give answers to people's emails, and a huge part of government employment is answering people's emails. So I see it as a tool for restructuring the state, making it more efficient.
And does Andy Burnham see it that way?
Yeah, well, it looks like AI has been given a prominent place. The other thing that hasn't really been picked up on is James Pennell is Chief of Staff, and Graham Cook is Head of Policy. Both of those have done a huge amount of work over the years on precisely these areas.
And neither of them particularly from the left of the Labour Party. There is a sense that maybe there was some expectation that Andy Burnham would appoint more prominent figures from the left wing into government, so that there would be a feeling of a Labour Party united under one sort of banner, which is Andy Burnham and Manchesterism. It doesn't really look like that, though, does it?
Well, it depends which end of the telescope you look at. Obviously, Ed Miliband's got the Foreign Office, and that's quite a significant thing. The 3 things that orientate Burnham, are a sense of place, and that's going to be significant. The other one is industrialisation and industrial strategy, and I'm looking at that as a very traditional sort of Labour approach, and the dignity of work is a really important thing in his orientation. So I don't think the world divides anymore into left and right. I think he's very much focusing on national issues and improving the quality of the state delivery on that.
But why should we believe that he will deliver? Because you just said that he might use AI to make government more efficient. I would bet you money, Lord Glasman, the number of civil servants in this country are going to go up rather than down under a Burnham government. There's no way he's going to say, we're going to make the government more efficient. We've got 550,000 civil servants. We're going to get that down to 400,000, which is what it was before COVID. He's a big state guy, and what happens to big state guys? They make the state bigger.
Okay, I think I'll take the bet. Actually,
really,
let's do that publicly. I think that there is a huge transformation coming in the organisation, particularly administrative, tasks, administrative tasks, but that confronts the problem that we've had, is that the last 40 years we've completely built everybody going to university on precisely those things. So there's going to have to be a retraining, there's going to have to be other outlets, but the reality of that cannot be avoided. And what that means is that the money can be spent on state-led industrial strategy. And that, Kate, is where the left-wing bit comes in.
And
we haven't heard of a national economic strategy since George Brown toddled off to the pub in 1966.
But do you think that will be enough? Because it all sounds really interesting and great stuff in theory, but there are some really immediate problems. I mean, the early release scheme is a hugely immediate problem. It's on the front page of the papers today. You've got two of the most senior cabinet ministers having a laugh about it and having to apologise. That's embarrassing. Yesterday you had a former minister, very senior cabinet minister from the former Prime Minister's team saying, well, great announcement on electricity bills, but where's the money coming from? That's from within your own camp. I mean, it sounds great, but will it hang together?
I'm not really saying that it's going to be great. What I'm saying is there is a reorientation of priorities within government. There's always going to be debris and spillage and a couple of car accidents along the way. That's life. But I think to keep secure the borders is absolute priority, and John Healey is not going to be a profligate Chancellor. But what I'm drawing your attention to, Stig, is that there is a kind of technological aspect to this that wasn't there before in this particular number 10, and that is an absolutely vital component, because it allows money to be invested in the things that actually this Prime Minister really wants to invest in.
Can we just ask you, I mean, we've been talking a bit this morning about the idea that we had Heidi Alexander on the programme, and she kept calling Andy Burnham Andy. She kept sort of saying...
Andy?
And, well, yes.
Yeah, I think you've got to get the accent right.
Well, and it seemed very friendly, very chummy, this sort of idea of Andy, not the Prime Minister. A bit call me Dave, some people have said.
Yeah.
A little bit Boris, maybe.
A little bit David Brent, maybe.
Well, and that's
Dave.
been levelled at him, and that has been levelled at him. At what point, is that a good thing? And is there a risk at some point it just becomes a bit naff? What do you think? How do you feel about it?
I think that becomes naff almost immediately. I mean, I don't think it takes any time for that. What I'm sort of drawing your attention to is hugely early, is that I was surprised and impressed at the quality of the team he's put around him in number 10. That's a different thing. There's been no evasion of the choices that will have to be made down the line. These three things that I mentioned: politics of place, reindustrialisation, some form of return of dignity of work. These are classic Labour government issues, but the confrontation of the size of the state and the cost of the state. Note that Pat McFadden is at welfare. So if you look at it that way, Stig and Kate, what you've got is actually quite a reforming core. Treasury, welfare, Home Office.
And yet every single time I've ever asked a Labour person, including Pat McFadden, do you believe in fewer people in the state? Do you believe in fewer civil servants? They'll never ever say that.
Well, there you go. I'm on, and I'm saying I really believe in that, and I'm quite committed.
And my
to
question, just finally, was just going back to what you said just a second ago. There's a reforming core and there's a new direction. Will the Labour backbench buy it? Because if they don't, you cannot get this stuff through. That's what it comes down to in the end.
Well, I think the Labour PLP
parliamentary
the
party.
Labour Party had a near-death experience.
Do you think they've recognised that, though?
Yeah, I think there's two things that happen. First of all, they have to go back to their constituencies every weekend. That's quite a traumatic experience. And the second thing there is that they've seen a Prime Minister come and go. Now, the reality of the matter is it's life and death for Labour now. I mean, the Labour Party can fall, and I think that will lead to quite a significant change. Plus, all this stuff with Andy, call me Andy, but he is a much more skillful politician than Starmer, and you will see that revealed over the next months and years. And he will not neglect the relationship with the PLP. He will turn up, he will talk, he will engage and explain. So I actually think that they're ready for what's coming.
Lord Glasman, thank you very much for joining us in
My
the studio.
pleasure.
Some optimism there about
Yeah,
the
it's
direction
been gloomy
of
for a
travel.
year coming on this programme, and you're
Well,
optimistic
it
now.
haven't been good times, have they?
A bit of optimism for you there.